Greetings, Judah, Israel, your brother DFG. Hey, my brothers and sisters. This is part two of a message that I began on yesterday in regards to last day judgment and why are the signs or the indicators that we are experiencing now happening, and why many of us who have been studying Abba Yah's word, many of us who have repented from wickedness and come out of, this wicked world, understand clearly that we're at last day's judgment, and Elohim, our Abba Yah, is about to burn this place down. Ecclesiastes teaches us, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, there is nothing new under the sun. Abba Yah does not change. He is not a man, nor is he the son of man that he changes. Malachi 3 and 16, right? I am Abba Yah, I change not. And so he's constantly reminding us, brothers and sisters. Let me go to the Malachi. I'm saying that wrong, but it's important enough to get it right. Hallelujah. Now, your brother's intention is to get this message complete. This is a continuation of our Wednesday night Bible study. And as I've said before, everyone is invited to sit in on our studies. We require nothing but your ear. And our study is 45 minutes. You guys know that already if you've been following the channel. And we pretty much keep it, Bible-centric. We will share some insight, maybe a couple of current affairs, just in case, our brothers and sisters may not have been aware of certain things that's going on. For example, Section 230. And we'll come back to that and elaborate a little bit on, what that is all about. But we come together as like-minded brothers and sisters, to hear Abba Yah's word so that, again, we can prepare ourselves for the judgment that is absolutely about to come upon this earth. And there's no question about it, brothers and sisters. All the signs, all the indicators are there. Plus, Abba Yah, again, he's not a man that he should lie. Nor is he the son of man that he shall repent. If he says he's going to do it, he is going to do it. The question is, where will you be found when it actually happens? But if you look at Malachi chapter 3, just, verse 16, praise Yahuwah. Let's go right on over here. Let's read it. I said 16, but it was 6. Anyway, Malachi, well, I'm glad, we go back here because I want you to mark these things down, brothers and sisters, because these things are going to come up. I know many of my younger brothers and sisters and the elders out there are witnessing and sharing Yah's, last day warnings to people that are in your circles of control, your circle of influence. And from time to time, you need to reference the book. So if you mark things down, it's going to make it a whole lot easier for you to be able to refer to something if it's a marking or highlighting. And I've shown you that many times inside of, my cipher. And I have many books, brothers and sisters, but my cipher is probably my go-to, my number one book. And if you go through my cipher, I'm not going to put it up, but does this look well used? Well, you can't really tell. But if you look at them pages, they're not crisp and brand new. I use it. And you should too, I might add. But anyway, Malachi 3, chapter 3, verse 6, it says, I am Yahuwah, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. What he's saying, he said, if I said I wasn't going to do it, I'm not going to do it. And that's why you guys are not destroyed as of yet. But then Michael tells us, Enoch tells us, we read in many other places out of the book, in the last days, certain things would happen. These would be indicators. These would be signs. And that's how we would know. And because he does not change, then a great place to start to compare and contrast is Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities that were confederate with Sodom and Gomorrah. And I use the word confederate, which is another word for united, like United States or like NATO. All these nations or countries, confederate cities together, and they all pretty much use one common law or one common practice. Now, David told us in Psalms 83 that all of those nations, wherever they might be upon this flat earth, they would always be confederate together, and they would always have as a bullseye target on their wall would be Israel and Judah. And when you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, you'll see very similar behaviors in their confederacy that was going on. In this case, it's 5 cities, or you can extrapolate it and say 5 countries, or you can expand on it and say 5 continents, however way you want to go with it. But at the end of the day, they were all united in their wickedness. They were all united in their laws. And just as I stated in the title of this particular message, just because it's legal does not make it just. Just because it's legal does not make it justified. Just because it's legal does not make it right. Any laws that are on this land that conflict with the laws of our Abba Yah, as written in his Torah, brothers and sisters, we're under no obligations to obey. None. As a matter of fact, if they go against the laws of the book, then we are to go against those laws. In essence, we don't comply. We become the ultimate nonconformist. And there should be any doubt in your mind that would make you that should cause you not to understand that. And we have a lot to cover, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to get to it. But, there's always, a cause and then there's an effect. And because Abba Yah is just, he would not just destroy this earth that he created if there was not good cause for it. And because of the causes, or because of all of the grievances here, all of the abominable things that are happening here, as they were in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, as they were in the days of Noah. And if he's just and he does not change, then we all would have to acknowledge that America has a debt. All those countries who are confederate with America has a debt. All those continents who've been participating in the wickedness of the West for centuries now, there's a debt to be paid. As a matter of fact, our Abba Yah said he's going to give them double for their trouble. But I want to make sure that my brothers and sisters are as educated and as informed as you can possibly be, because the scoffers are coming, the naysayers are coming, the trolls are coming. And trust me, like my dear sister Rosamond told me yesterday, Brother DFG, they're going to be coming for men like you. You say they're going to have an intention to eliminate you. And I know my sister is right. And that didn't bring any kind of fear upon me. I understood the job before I said, here I am, Abba Yah. Here I am. Take me. I already understood that. That there was a price to pay to be called of Abba Yah, to be a messenger to his people, those that he loves. All of Israel. But only 1/3 of Israel will hearken. But Yah is just. He's not just going to talk to us, the 1/3. He's going to talk to all of Israel. So that there will be, without excuse, those who choose to continue to follow the ways of the heathens. Or the ways of, better said, the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. All those cities that were confederate with them. And at the end of the day, for the most part, you can believe whether they want to admit it or not, Israel is their target, because Israel is always highlighted in those countries. whether they're looking at us for entertainment purposes, whether they're looking for us as far as wickedness, to label us as the most wicked and vile people on the planet, whether they're looking at us for labor to enrich themselves, whatever it might be, you can be rest assured, sisters and brothers, that Israel is the target. And because we're the target, Abba Yah has placed a net around us so that they would not destroy all of us. And again, that was talked about in Psalms 83. That they confederate, they were united together. They formed their NATO organizations. Why? To rid the earth of Israel. Really what they're trying to do is rid the earth of the presence of Abba Yah. And since we're made in his image and his likeness, we are his representation on earth as far as, those things he created with his, to be what he called man, one man, then we're despised because of it. The heathen will never admit it. They'll tell us, oh, no, you guys have some kind of inferiority complex, or you guys are this or that, because they lie. They lie. According to the book, they're the seed of the liars, the deceivers, the fallen angels. And at the end of the day, we should never give any weight to what they're saying, any above what we can validate based off of what they're saying. They do evil and they find themselves not guilty. And so we're going to look inside of Sodom and Gomorrah and identify those behaviors so we can compare and contrast with the things that are going on today. And y'all willing, I'm going to do my best to connect as many dots as I can. And I'm going to say this to y'all front, brothers and sisters. Some of this stuff is going to get a little hot, and some of it is going to be a little testy. And if you got little ones, depending on where you are or where they are in your development with them, you may or may not want them to sit in. You can always go and edit things, right? And how you say, eat the meat and spit out the bones. But this message, I'm telling you, is for grown-ups. But it's for children too, if you're depending on where you are with your children, Israel. Amen. I'm sorry, Salah. So we're going to get to it. And one other thing I want to bring out, the picture that I used on the post, Sierra. The message is not about Sierra. The message is about nakedness. Nakedness. And if you read our book, and this is what, for all of these people who call themselves Christians or whatever they call themselves, who believe in the Torah, but yet they can embrace aborting babies, homosexuality, intermarrying, wife swapping, pedophilia, and extortion, then you tell me what Torah they're believing in. Because on the one side over here, I believe the Torah is right. And we keep the Torah. At least those things we can keep. Well, I'm going to say this. From what I can see with most Christians, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Because there's a picture out there with Sierra and Russell Wilson praying. And there's another picture right next to both of them. Russell Wilson is her husband. Where he's standing there, somewhat dressed appropriately, and she's standing there, as you saw, in the fingerprint on this video, naked. And yet you got Christians all over this flattery talking about, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Your body shaming and all of this food. Well, look, brothers and sisters, let me say something to you. If it conflicts with this Torah, your brother got an issue with it. And these lies they want to tell us, brothers and sisters, all the time about, you can't keep it all. What about the ones you can keep? Because there's clearly written in the book that women don't have any business being outside naked. Men either. And let's go to that. I'm not going to go deep into it because we'll never get to. We'll be in part 3 if I'm not careful. I get it. And we might end up in part 3 here. So be okay with that, brothers and sisters. Yah will. Let's let Yah will be done. I'm a servant, and I am, and a vessel to bring forth his truth and I am, then we will let him guide the timelines. When he says stop, we will stop. But all these Torah keepers, I just want you to know, I'm not talking about you, the 1/3 who are in the truth. You know that your body is supposed to be covered. At least you should know. But for all these naysayers out there who want to say, oh, it's her body, it's her expression, Abba Yah has no problem with that. And they say they keep the Torah. Let's see what Abba Yah has to say about this. Go to the book of Leviticus. Follow me to chapter 18. In our Torah, okay? It's in the Torah. Leviticus is a Torah book inside the Tanakh. So they're telling us they're keeping the Torah and that Russell Wilson and Sierra are good Christians. And they probably are. But that's all they are, good Christians. But they're not 1/3 elect of Elohim. Him, because he stood right there next to her and let it happen. Her, because she did it. And I put the picture out there because I want everyone to understand, just because it's legal, don't make it just. If it goes against the laws and statutes of Elohim, it is unjust. And I gave you 5 bullet points. And we're going to look at some of this stuff. But I give you, 6 of killing our babies. Talking about pro-choice, homosexuality, killing life, intermarrying, killing the seed, wife swapping, which is abominable, sleeping with children, which is wicked and abominable, and extortion, taxing interest on Yah's people, placing interest on Yah's people. But let's get to Leviticus. We're still talking about it's the Sierras of the world who's just nothing but a beacon or how you say, Pied Piper for all the women who want to actually be out there naked. This is what the book says. Let's talk to the Torah keepers. The true Torah keepers, this is what we're commanded. This is the law that we are commanded to obey. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 5. You shall guard my statutes, my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. It means he will obey them. For I am Yahuwah. That's spelled Hahuah. It's pronounced Yahuwah, not Yahushua. It means the sovereign Elohim, not the Son of God. Verse 6, none of you shall approach any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. Who says, for I am Yahuwah. That's verse 6. Verse 7, the nakedness of your father or the nakedness of your mother you shall not see. She is your mother, and you shall not see her nakedness. The nakedness of your father's woman you shall not see, meaning wife. It is your father's nakedness. The nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, the daughter of your mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad somewhere else. Even their nakedness you shall not see. You see where this is going? You see where this is going, brothers and sisters? Let's go on. Let's continue. The nakedness of your father's daughter, begotten of your father, she is your sister. You shall not see her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness, or you should not see the nakedness of your father's sisters. That's your auntie. But she is your father's near kinswoman. You shall not see the nakedness of your mother's sister, for she is your mother's near kinswoman. Relative. That's what it means. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's brother. You shall not approach his woman, for she is your aunt. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your daughter-in-law. She is your son's woman. And you shall not see her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness or see the nakedness of your brother's woman. It is your brother's nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of a woman that is her daughter and her daughter. Neither shall you take a son's daughter or a daughter's daughter to see her nakedness, for they are all near kinspeople. It is wickedness. That's why the picture is up there. So we can all see exactly what wickedness looked like. Because, see, the enemy of man, the adversaries of man, the zillions of demons that are here on this earth, some physical, some spiritual, they are going to promote nakedness, and our daughters and our brothers are going to embrace this as though this is something fashionable. This is just about self-expression. How could Abba Yah, be uncomfortable with my nakedness when he was the one who gave me this body? Yeah, he gave you that body, but that body was to be for him whom he chose to see that body. And no one else. Primarily, your husband. And I'm not talking about no heathens. Heathens can do whatever they want to do. They can run around naked. The law doesn't apply to them. It only applies to Israel. Heathens can do whatever they want to do. They're not judged by the book. They're judged by the damnation from their fallen fathers. Their penalty is already established. It's just a matter of time for them. That's why they despise your brother. That's why they can't stand me. And I can't stand them either. I'm talking about the ones who can't stand me. I don't love them. I'm not going to tell that lie. No, I don't love America or the West or any of our enslavers, colonizers, oppressors, rapers, thieves amongst us, robbers, you name them. No, not me, brother. Not me. Except you repent and get on your knees and beg until you bleed and ask Abba Yah to forgive you for not only your wickedness, but the wickedness of your forefathers, then we have nothing to say to each other. Now, that's my stance. But that stance is pretty consistent with what our book warns us about. And because when we don't stand for the Abba Yah's truth, and we participate in the things of this world, and we don't separate and come out from them and not follow the vanity. Did not Jeremiah warn us in Jeremiah chapter 10? Seek not after the things of the heathen, for they are vain. They are lovers of pleasure, and they don't respect Abba Yah. They just love Abba Yah's Jews. They'll take one of our daughters with a quickness. For them, they're reliving their master's experience. I got me a house nigger. I got me a housewife. Fraudulent slip? Maybe not. But your nakedness is not for the world to see. And it doesn't matter what laws they approve of it. No matter what level of tolerance is okay. If the book says, the Torah says, wickedness, sisters, cover yourself up. Or not. It's your decision at the end of the day. But at least now, my dear sisters, you know what the book says. Now, you don't have to be, questioning it. Does Abba Yah love the beautiful body that you're in? Yeah. If you're willing to use it to his glory. If you're using it to be fruitful and multiply for his service, yes. That's why he gave it to you. But if you think he gave it to you to utilize and to be, a neon sign for the heathens and for the demons of this world, to lust after, to applaud, you're wrong. That's not why you have it. That body belongs to you and for him who he chooses to see it, according to his laws in terms of what constitute the revealing of one's nakedness. And brothers, same thing applies to you. You're ready for yourself. Go back and read it. If you don't understand it, go back and read it. All right. Who thought in my mind like, DFG, man, you really don't like the heathens. I don't like anyone who are sitting right here perpetuating evil and wickedness and targeting our people. Why you like them? Well, they ain't all that way. And why you sitting over here separating the good from the bad? Why don't you let Abba Yada do that? We just do our part and just, obey the law, statutes, and commandments. Why don't you let him determine which are bad or good? Because you have no earthly way of knowing. None of us have any earthly way of knowing. Satan can manifest itself into anything, including the dearest, sweetest little husband you could ever have. He'd be nothing but a devil hiding in the basement. All right. The book of Jasher, chapter 19. Oh, and by the way, Shabbat Shalom. Sorry, brothers and sisters. As you can see, this has been boiling up inside your brother. But Shabbat Shalom to you, my brothers and sisters. All honor to our Abba Yah. But the book of Jasher, chapter 19. And this was a part of our study the other night. Praise Yah. So all of you who missed the study, this is pretty much what we studied, but you're going to get a few more details because there's only so much we can say in 45 minutes. But Yah willing, we're going to take the next hour and go through this. And I will say this, brothers and sisters, again, for those of you who are on the fence, you're still a Christian, you're still not sure about, these so-called books that you shouldn't be reading. Here's what I will say to you. This book was here long before the book you're reading. If you're not reading the Tanakh, I want you to understand the Tanakh was around 1,000 years before your New Testament. Not only that, but there is nothing in your New Testament that is real, that's genuine doctrine, except it be in the Tanakh and the Apocrypha books. And to be afraid of the Apocrypha books would be like someone who say, I want to be a doctor, but you're okay with biology, but when they say chemistry, you're like, I don't see why that is necessary. Well, it's necessary. It's a part of the curriculum to become the doctor. If you want to know your Abba Yah and everything about your Abba Yah, if you want to know your people and everything about your people, then you have to be willing to learn that, and you're not going to find it in the New Testament. It's not there. What you're going to find over there is just a lot of tolerance, and no accountability for the most part. When our Abba Yah is full of accountability, whom he loves, he chastises, quote unquote. Full of accountability. And because there is truly no accountability because they shifted over to Jesus, then the people can never be healed. We can never be restored because we're constantly in a position of perdition. We're constantly in a position of perdition. And therefore, Yah is not going to show itself strong to us as a nation. Individually, there may be indicators and signs and a few testimonies, but as a people, it ain't going to happen. If you really want to see Yah's power for your people, if you really love Israel and you're a part of Israel, then you want to see the manifestation of everything that Abba Yah has for Israel. And quite frankly, that's not going to come until he gets rid of all this evil, until he burns it down with fire. And everyone who loves this world right along with it. As we will testify again, because he does not change. If he did not spare those cities, those Confederate states, nations, for the abominable things they were doing, then he would not be Abba Yah if he didn't do the same thing right now to these nations. He's already starting with the banking system. I mentioned to you a moment ago with Section 230. You know what Section 230 is about? It's about, lawsuits now going against social media to say that if anything gets said on social media and someone hearkens to that and cause them harm, then they can sue not the person who said it, but the platform from which it was said, Section 230. And some of you might say, well, that makes sense. Well, it makes sense only if you want, society and governments controlling what you hear. If you only want to hear propaganda, crafted messages that are used by the powers that be for, for influence and manipulation and for controlling, if you want to be a zombie. Otherwise, trust me, brothers and sisters, that's not the kind of government you want to live under. But that's what they're pushing and promoting. And we all know the first one they're going to attack is those who speak out against evil. Those who will say, Sierra, put some clothes on. And therefore, the objective is to shut down the truth. And it's prophesied to do that would happen. And right now, it's being discussed. So for those out there who are thinking they have time, well, the day will come, when I get ready, I listen every now and then, but I don't see what the big deal's about. Well, you'll see sooner or later when you don't hear it. When it's gone, and all you get is popcorn messages from the Joel Osteens and the T.D. Jakes and the Joyce Meyers. When you realize that these people are saying nothing about all the things that are destroying your children, destroying society. Because the book you'll be looking for us. Talking about those of us who are willing to speak the truth, uninhibited, undiluted, pure truth. You'll be looking for us. But this is what the book says is going to happen when that day comes. I know you brothers and sisters know why I'm laughing. You brothers say, Brother DFG, if you keep this up, you are never going to get through. Praise Yahweh. Well, I will. But as I said earlier, we're going to do it on Yah's time. Right? What's the hurry? Where can we go that he isn't there? Where do we want to go and he isn't there? Can't hide from him. As a matter of fact, what did 2 Chronicles 16 and 9 says? The rock of Abayah goes throughout the whole earth, looking to show what? Himself strong in the hearts of those who what? Love him. Where you want to go where Yah can't go? So what's the hurry? He's going to be there. If you love him, you allow him to love you. But Amos 8. Look what Amos 8 and 11 reads. He said, behold, now I want you to connect this to what I just said, what they're about to push out sooner than later, brothers and sisters. So all of those out there saying, why do you shut up? Well, you don't want me to tell you what I think about that, about you who think that. And that's not really necessary. But for those who are out there saying, why don't they just shut up? Well, the day will come. But I will tell you, you're not going to be as happy about that as you think. Just remember, I told you. Behold, the days will come, says Yahuwah, that I will send a famine in the land. This is Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of the hearing of the word of Yahuwah. You know what that means, brothers and sisters? People are going to be wanting to hear the word, and they're not going to be able to hear the word. What do you mean? What do you mean? They can always be preachers, yeah, but they won't be preaching the word of Yahuwah. They'll be preaching the word of men, as they are already doing. Go in these churches. You don't hear them preaching against no abortion. You don't hear them preaching against sex trafficking, human trafficking. You don't hear them saying anything about that. Extortion, homosexuality outside of come on in. Intermarrying. They don't say anything about that. But you can turn on the TV and you can see signs of it all over the place. That's what they're doing. That's what they're promoting. That's what they're encouraging. But you never stop to ask the question, why? I wonder why. Because they know what you don't know. That Yah is coming back soon. And he's going to judge everyone who is in rebellion. Them first, and 2/3 of Israel immediately after. And they know it. It's kind of the guy who, well, if I got to die, I want everybody else to die too. That person. That's the mentality of most of them. But they say, this book says you're going to want to hear the word. People are going to want to hear the word, brothers and sisters. And guess what? It says, but the hearing of the word, verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, going all over the earth, from the north to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahuwah, and they will not find it. They're going to go to Africa. No word in that. They're going to go to Europe. No word in Europe. They're going to go to Jamaica. No word in Jamaica. They're going to go to Australia. No word in Australia. They're going to go to South America seeking for the word. That's how desperate they're going to be for the word. They're going to go all over this earth trying to find the word. What word? The truth. Someone willing to speak the truth as it is written. Even though they're offended by this truth now, the day going to come, they're going to want somebody to speak out against this evil. Because that evil is going to be, they're going to be drowning in vomit. The wickedness is going to be so deep, the blood is going to be so deep, they're going to be drowning in it. This is the book, by the way. It all goes back to the vomit and streets of blood waist high. So what are we doing? What is your brother doing? Warning you. Bringing forth the word. Challenging you to turn back and come back to Abba Yah. To question what you were taught in religion. To question it. To ask yourself basic questions. Why did they have to create Superman to save you? Why did they have to tell you to go to a dead man for salvation when you had a living Elohim who could not die? There's Superman. Clark Kent when everything is good, and Superman when it's bad. But they got a bunch of them. Spider-Man, right? Aquaman, Wolverine. They got a bunch of them. Tarzan, Jesus. Think about it. It's not hard to figure out. The fix been in for thousands of years. But the last 1,700 years, it's been pretty effective for them and detrimental for us. And my responsibility, as so many others, is to wake our people up. And what I mean by that is to say, hey, look, the word's going to come a time there's not going to be a word left. There's going to be a time there's going to be no more grace. There will be no more tolerance. There will be no way into the ark. There will be nobody pulling you out of the city of Gomorrah. And that day is near. And according to the book, you're going to warn it. People are going, same ones who are, speaking evil against us because they don't want to hear this truth. They want popcorn Jesus, popcorn Allah, popcorn Buddha, popcorn Kali, popcorn Krishna, popcorn Muhammad. But they're going to get fiery Yah. It goes on to read, in that day shall the fair virgins, that means our young daughters, and our young men faint for thirst. In other words, that of them growing and becoming the best that they could have been in Israel, they're going to faint and they're going to just perish because there will be nothing to guide them. Nothing but this filthy, wicked debauchery that they're using right now, this whoredom and this bestiality and other kind of vicious wickedness that they're using right now to train our children up through the gaming, through social media, through the school systems, and through religion. The false churches. And they're going to perish because of our children. And they shall swear by the sin of Sharon, and say, your Elohim, O Dan, lives. And the man of Beersheba lives, and even they shall fall, never to rise again. They're going to go to the far reaches to find the truth. Say, we agree now, we agree. We agree that what Brother DFG was saying. And people say, well, who is? They're gone. What do you mean they're gone? They're gone. Abiyah called them out. They left. Where they went? We don't know. Well, let's find them. We looked. They can't be found. Are they dead? I don't think so. No, we'll be covered and protected wherever Yah pulls us to. Those who are in obedience. Full obedience, I might add. Just as he spared those in Noah's day, as he spared those in Sodom and Gomorrah. But 3 in Sodom and Gomorrah, 8 in Noah's day. We hope and pray, Abba Yah, it'll be many, many more in this day. But at the rate of debauchery and the way our people are so easily distracted, who can say? Who can say? But you can say, because you can do. You can obey. So I guess when it comes down to the famine of the word and the word being gone, what says you about what you're going to do right now while you can still get it? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to seek it. I'm going to study it. I'm going to speak it. I'm going to be about it. Brother Adrian, if you're out there, and I suspect you are my brother, if you put that in the comments and your brother's going to pin that last statement. Just as a reminder to those that we love, Israel. Okay. All right, brothers and sisters. Jasher, chapter 19. In the cities of Sodom, and the 4 judges up to the 4 cities, and their names were Sirach in the city of Sodom, Shakad in the city of Amorah, Zanak in Admon, Menon in Servan, and Eliezer, Abraham's servant, applied to them different names as he converted Sirach to Shakara, Shakad to Shakariah, Zenak to Zeroim, and Menon to Mazalin. And by desire of their 4 judges, the people of Sodom and Amorah, which is Sodom and Gomorrah, had beds erected in the streets of the cities. And if a man came to these places, now get this wickedness, brothers and sisters. If a man came to these places, they laid hold on him, and they brought him to one of their beds. Y'all can already see where this is going. And by force made him to lay down. Who takes a man, bring him, and puts him in a bed by force? These demons were raping men. These were homosexuals. That's why they had beds all over the cities. Well, let's go on. Let's see. I don't want you to think I'm conflating this. You're talking about some serious wicked. And you think about how they're pushing that agenda right now, the alphabet agenda right now. You're starting to look at some of these men. You tell me they're not muscle bound. These women too. If I was a heterosexual woman, some of these lesbian women, they look like men. And then let's not forget, now they can be trans women. So they really are men. And they're going to be right amongst you. Same thing on the other side. Look at some of these men. I mean, they're built like to last. They're built like Charles Atlas, Ronnie Coleman. Y'all know who they are. And just as gay as the sun is bright. So if you think that they don't have the strength, male or female, to assault you, brothers and sisters, again, you're not paying attention. And not just you, your children too. Just saying. Stay amongst them and see what's going to happen. Be fellowshipping with them, tolerating it. I'm not talking about doing anything to anybody. I'm just talking about letting them, it being so accepting. Everybody's just all about love. You got a right to choose who you love. We don't have you're a damn lie. Y'all be a man for a woman and a woman for a man. Anything else is perverseness. Verse 4. And as he lay down, 3 men would stand at his head and 3 at his feet, and measure him by the length of the bed. And if the man was less than the bed, these 6 men would stretch him at each end. In other words, they would pull him open wide. Stretch him wide. And when he cried out, they wouldn't stop. Wouldn't stop what? Sexually assaulting him. And if he was longer than the bed, they would draw together 2 sides of the bed at each end until the man had reached the gates of death. So they would sodomize him almost to death. And if he continued to cry, they would answer him saying, this is going to be done to the man that comes in our land. And when the men heard all these things that the people of Sodom did, they stopped going to Sodom. Because they realized, holy crap. So when you see Genesis chapter 19, this is why, when Lot saw those angels come, those 2 angels, he hurried up at the gate and said, y'all come on in here. Don't stay out there. And they said, no, we're going to stay out there. I said, no. Y'all better come on in here. You can't stay out there with them. Because those men want men. They don't want no women. They want men. But it's all love, so they say. What I just read to you, does that sound like love? But Brother DFG, don't apply to all of them. Here we go again. What did Yah say about this lifestyle? Go back and read Leviticus 18 and 13 if you need some assistance. Since you want to call it all about love, those who may have said that. Because, it's in the Torah. You keep the Torah, right? Let's go see. Let's go visit. Leviticus. Chapter 20. 18:2. Let's go look at Leviticus chapter 18. In your Torah, in our Torah, they say they obey the Torah in the churches. Well, some. The Christians who keep the Torah. It's an oxymoron, but that's okay. He said, you shall not lie with a man as you lie with womankind, because it is an abomination. Abomination. It is an abomination. So there's never going to be anything, brothers and sisters, loving to it. It's an abomination. It can't be loving because it's an abomination. It cannot be about love or tolerance because it is an abomination, at least not for Israel. We have to obey the Torah. Let's see what Leviticus 20:13 says. If a man lies or sleep or have sex with man as he has sex with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, and they shall surely be put unalive. And their blood is on their own hands. So how could you call something clean that Abba Yah says is unclean? That's for that group over there that want to say that we're teaching hate. Because they don't want to hear the truth, because quite frankly, they enjoy that lifestyle. They enjoy it. Truth be told, someone probably participated in it, still participating in it. And I only have one thing to say to you, if that's you. It's time to repent. Come out. Detest it before it's too late. Because you're right, we'll be shut down soon enough. Right? There'll be a famine of a word. You won't be hearing from us longer than Yah's plan. But if you're as smart as folks say you are, then you take heed to what your brother just read, according to Abba Yah Yahuwah. When you go to Genesis, and some of our brothers, they love some Genesis. There were two angels, came to Sodom, the same Sodom I'm talking about, in the evening. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face towards the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet. And you rise up, and you can rise up in the morning and go on your way. And they said, No, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed on them. He put pressure on them greatly. He said, No, you can't do that. And then he finally convinced them, and they turned in unto him and entered in his house, and he made them food, and they ate. But before they went to bed, the men of the city, the same ones that just got from stretching this man and doing what they were doing out there in the city, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, they circled his house, both young and old men, men and boy lovers, whatever, Lambert, whatever they call it. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, Where are the men which came into your house this night? Bring them out to us, that we may sleep with them. That's what Sodom means. Like Adam knew Eve, his wife, and they conceived. No is another word for sex, intimacy, intercourse. And Lot went to the door, and he shut the door behind him. And he said, I pray you, brother, do not so wickedly. So if this was about love, now we're hearing again precepts. It's wicked behavior. He said, Don't do so wicked. Behold, I have two daughters which are virgins. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and you may do to them what you want to do. But only these men, don't sexually molest them. And therefore, they came under the shadow of my roof. That's why I brought them in my house, because I didn't want y'all to sexually assault them. The R-A-P-E word. This one fellow came, this man just came to sojourn in. And then they say to Saul, stand back. Saul, Lot, get out the way. Shut up. We don't want to hear what you got to say. Now the scoffers are in the house. The critics are in the house. Skeptics are in the house. But Yah's here too. Verse 9, and they said, get back. And they said again, this one fella came to sojourn, and he will need to tell us and he will need to be a judge. Now we will deal with you worse than them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and they came to break down the door. But the men put forth their hands and pulled Lot into the house, the angels, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door with blindness, both small and great. This was the rich people, the poor people, the young and the old ones. All these men were wicked. That's what they try to use these entertainers to do right now. Pushing this agenda out here. Wicked men trying to get everyone else to be wicked, especially our young people, by telling them, no, it's about love, it's about self-expression. You didn't choose to be a boy, so why you have to stay one? Same thing with the daughters. But the men put forth their hand, pulled Lot into his house, and shut the door. And they smote the men with blindness, and small and great, and they wearied themselves outside the door. So they still trying to get in, but they couldn't see anymore. See, that's what evil does. It blinds you to the truth. It's a metaphor. And the men said unto Lot, the angels, have you here any besides yourself? Son-in-law, or sons, or daughters, whatsoever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing loud before the face of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah has sent us here to destroy it. And Lot went out, he spoke to his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, up and get out of this place, for Yahuwah will destroy it. But he seemed to them as one that mocked. In other words, they were saying, just like they're saying about us, telling everybody, don't listen to them, those people crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. Verse 16, and he lingered, and the men grabbed hold of his hand. Lot, he's trying to hang around, waiting around. Well, let me wait and see what's going to happen. Yah said, when you hear my voice, you better move, son, daughter. lingering around. This is the equivalent, well, I'm waiting on Abba Yah to see what he's going to say. He said, what do you mean you're waiting on me? You don't know how to read, or you're illiterate? Is this some form of silent rebellion? And is that why you're lingering? Waiting? And he lingered. And the men laid hold of his hand, and upon the hand of his woman, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, and Yahuwah being merciful, he was showing him mercy, brought them forth out of the city. See, that's the time some of our people, y'all just being merciful by having someone coming to you telling you over and over. And you think they're harassing you. You think they got some issue with you. It's really Yah's mercy giving you a chance to take heed. And that happens so much in Israel. Yah's been warning us, and they're lingering and something happens. They get hit by a car wreck, these serial shooters, or all of a sudden they have a heart attack, they slip down and, break their neck. There are many kind of things that can judge you while you're lingering around. But I know one thing, Yah is going to only warn us X amount of times, and he'll send people for us. These men came to light, and these angels came to light in the form of men. Yah will send men for us, brothers and sisters, to warn us. Because of that love, he's answering our prayers. But so often we just linger around and say, I'm waiting on Yah. Yah said, what do you mean you're waiting on me? I just sent me through him, through her. What are you talking about? Let's go back to Jasher, chapter 19. Hallelujah. See how far we go. Hallelujah. But how many times, brothers and sisters, see, that's why they don't want us reading these apocryphal books. Jasher, but I don't even know how Jasher was hid. Joshua, that was all kind of little nuggets. The nuggets in the book of Samuel that talks about Jasher. There was nuggets in the book of Joshua that talks about Jasher. You follow me? This book someone should have long ago said, where's the book of Jasher that they're referencing? And I don't know how any lover of Elohim would find issue with this. Because I just showed you what happened in Genesis through Jasher. This is why Lot didn't want them in the street. See, Genesis doesn't tell you why Lot didn't want them in the street. It just tells you when they found out the men had come to Lot's house that they went to go get them, the men from the streets. But see, Jasher tells you who these men were and what their lifestyle was and what their customs were. What was legal. Yes, homosexuality was legal in those cities. What about sexual violence? Was that legal? I don't know. In that city it was. But what about here? Maybe one day it will be. Maybe it's already happening. You just don't know. You know how many men out here get sexually assaulted and they never say anything about it? They go out with the boys, and in the morning they wake up and one of the boys laying there, or they laying somewhere, no clothes on. And last time they remember, they were still with the boys. But one of the boys was more than just the boy. Oh, it's happening. I'm talking about to men. And of course we know so many of our brothers are in the penitentiaries or prisons, and we know it's happening in there. You think the prison guards are out there trying to stop it? No, they're looking at it like, hey, that's what happens in here. So let's not say it's not legalized. If the people who are put in place to enforce it don't enforce it, then that's their way of saying it's permissible. Nothing new under the sun. And for all you heterosexual Israelites out here who don't mind, going and get locked up, just remember, there are going to be some men like Sodom and Gomorrah over there waiting for you. You better be ready. That was just a little something extra. Okay, verse 8. And a poor man came to the land, and they would give him silver and gold, and cause a proclamation in the whole city not to give him morsel of bread to eat. And if the stranger would remain there for some days, and so that if the stranger remained there some days, and die from hunger, not having been able to obtain food, then at his death the people of the city would come and take the silver and gold that they had given to him. Now you might look at that and say, what's the logic behind that? I don't know. I looked at it. I know what it brought to my mind, brothers and sisters? Subprime lending. You remember how back in the early 2000s where they were allowing people to buy homes? And just reason, I shouldn't even say that, because Bank of America last year started telling people you can buy a home with no credits. If you're immigrants, you need any credits, any collateral, anything. All you do is come and apply for a loan, and they will give it to you. And then as soon as you weren't able to pay that mortgage, they were coming and getting that house back. And anything else that you owned or you invested, they were taking that too. Extortion. Legal extortion. And you found that in many forms. This banking system itself. Why do they want your money? So they can make money off of your money. Legalized extortion. And as a matter of fact, according to our book, we're not even supposed to charge interest on anything that we lend to one another. But see, the heathens, that's because they run in the world. That's exactly what they do. But do you know that in Israel, brothers and sisters, we're not supposed to charge interest on our brothers and sisters? And that's what you see going here. So what they were doing, they would give him all this stuff, knowing, and then they wouldn't give him what he needed to sustain it. Give him a house, then fire him off his job. Give him, bad food, and then don't give him medicine. Or make it so expensive he can't afford it. Or she can't afford it. Give them housing in inner cities and then take all the tax revenue and bring it out into the suburbs. And then when they no longer can sustain the infrastructure, move back in through gentrification, rebuild the houses, charge extraordinary, put a high value on the house, and then so that they can't afford to stay there anymore, and then rid them back into the ghettos, repositioned somewhere else on the outer skirts of the city. You see it? Can you see it now? Can you see now why Abba tells us don't interact with them? Because in their hearts, it's nothing but evil continually. And when you're around them, they teach you to be like them. Isn't that exactly what we were told in Deuteronomy? Not to let your sons or daughters, because they're going to turn your children to their behaviors. And your children are going to become just like them. Is that not the warning? Stay with your own kind so they don't corrupt you through what they value, their value system, which is materialism. Our value system is supposed to be based off of Yah and community, nothing more. Yahuwah and our people, community. That's the very reason why he said that don't have a heathen over you. Don't put a stranger over you. Because that's the kind of stuff they would do to you. The judges were approving this in Sodom and Gomorrah in those cities. In their confederacy, their unity. Our book says it. Let's go to that. Why not? Let's take a quick little peek over it. For the extortion, if you want to see what extortion is about, just so in the name of time, well, it's Shabbat. Let's look at extortion, and then we're going to come and look over here where it talks about strangers being over us, brothers and sisters. So Exodus chapter 22, in your Torah, they can accuse us of many things, but one thing they're going to be accused of, well, they won't say we're not getting it out of the Bible. The Bible they don't read, by the way. Or they go over there and read over there Mark, Luke, and, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, tell the women to stay home and shut up. That's what they'll read at over there. And the women are saying over there, I believe in Joel, 2 say your son and daughter should prophesy. So they over there fighting about who's supposed to be in charge. Whatever. That is mentally exhausting. But if you go over here, just to make sure I got this right, Exodus 22, all right, 25. It says, Exodus chapter 22 and 5, in our Torah, follow along. If you lend money to any of my people, talking about Israel, that is poor, if you lend them money, brothers and sisters, that is poor, you shall not be an Yeshua or Urshua, which means it's one who acts like a banker, charging interest on the loan. Neither shall you lay up on him any interest. If you at all take your neighbor's remnant to pledge, you shall deliver it back to him by the time the sun goes down, for that it is his covering only. It is his raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep. And it shall come to pass when he cries unto me, I will hear him, for I will be gracious. So he's saying, even if we are bartering with one another, if we realize that in that bartering system, that my brother or sister is going to be at a disadvantage because they're not able to fulfill that particular agreement, I'm supposed to give them relief. I'm supposed to say, okay, well, go ahead and take it. Just bring it back tomorrow because you're going to need it for the night. And that happens until the debt is paid. It goes back and forth because we are our brother's keepers in Israel. That's why we're going into a community. Some of us are very excited about it because at least, we can demonstrate and get our people to feel what true, genuine fellowship and brotherhood, sisterhood feels like before Yah comes. Yah willing. But no interest in Israel. No interest. Did y'all know that? You lend something to somebody, they're supposed to pay it back. Don't get me wrong. But you're not supposed to, say, well, if you don't give it back to me tomorrow, I'm going to charge you 10% more. And no, that's extortion. You saw an example of that going on inside of God. And we're not supposed to act the way the heathens act. Our Torah demands that we don't. Let's go over to Deuteronomy chapter 7. We read this yesterday, but, teaching is repeating till learning has occurred. What does it say here? Neither shall you make marriages with them. Your daughter shall you not give to his son, nor his daughter for you to take to your son, for they will turn them away from following after Yahuwah, and they will have them serving their gods of materialism, other gods. And so will the anger of Yahuwah be kindled against you and destroy you for it. This is why he don't want us interacting with them, intermarrying with them. You got nothing to do with racism. This is about standards. It's about standards. It's about standards. Who are you, Israel? Are you a byword or a proverb? Or are you a nation, the most powerful nation that ever walked this flat earth? Who are you? Are you tired of being trampled on by the lesser men? Not because we say so. It was Yahuwah who called them heathens first, not us. The clock is ticking. And he was crystal clear to us as well. Make sure I won't, because there's one more thing I want to make sure we get in here. Deuteronomy chapter 17. Back to the law. Back to the Torah. I want to make this clear. Again, I'm got a couple of things because I want to make sure I give my brothers and sisters what the word says. In Just for the record, I don't want you. I wonder if he's just thinking about that, and that's why he's talking about that. For those of you who may naively think that that's who your brother is, let me say to you, you're wrong. Yeah, you saw me flipping the pages to get there. But this is what it looks like once I arrive. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. You shall in no wise set him. Let's go to verse 14. When you are coming to the land which Yahuwah gives you, and possess it, which is wherever we are, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as to all the nations round about me. You shall in any wise set a king over you, whom Yahuwah shall choose. So you have no other choice. You set someone over you who Yahuwah has chosen. One from among your brethren, you shall set king over you. That means they have to be an Israelite. And you must not set a stranger over you, which is not your brother. That means if they're not an Israelite, they have no business being in authority over us, including in a marriage. Your husband is a ruler over you in a marriage, according to the law, to our Abba Yah. And he's saying right here, you should not have a stranger over you. This is what the book says. And I've already given you Jubilees 30 and 11, Tobit 4 and 12. What is that? Deuteronomy 7 and 3. All through the book. So this is not taking something out of context, but this is just giving you more context. Not taking out of context. This is the text, the tent, the content, the intentional, the intent. It's that you understand why not to do it, because they're going to turn your heart away. Well, no, they're not. Yes, they will. If you can't release them or move away from them, they've already did it. You just don't know it. And sometimes our people find ways to justify, what they don't think is wickedness, but it's wickedness in the eyes of Abba Yah. Well, he's my child and I love him. And, I'm not going to turn my back on him because he's gay. Well, you had better do something. I know what you were instructed to do is put him away. Well, I'm not going to do anything. Okay. Well, when judgment comes, just like when it came to Sodom and Gomorrah, those who did not leave with Lot were destroyed, even his own children. That means you're going to get destroyed right with them or her. And if you're good with that, then okay. If you're good with that, then okay. No problem. I don't have no problem with you. But you're putting in a lot of work before Abba Yah for nothing. You're putting money in bags with holes in it, just so you know. Because if you think for 1 second he's going to let you be in violation of his Torah because of your feelings, then you're really not studying. Lot's wife, and we're going to read that in a moment. This man's wife was grabbed and taken out of the city. But she was, her heart for her daughters was so strong, she just could not imagine leaving her daughters there to be judged. And so what did she do? She decided to look back. She didn't go back. She just looked back. She decided to linger in her heart, and she was destroyed. And you really think that you can linger or stay in a situation, allow someone to be with you in a situation that Abba Yah says not to accept, not to go along with, not to be a part of, and he's going to show you mercy. Well, that's the mercy you made up. Because, see, you're trying to make Yah like you, and he's not like you. Your thoughts are not his thoughts, and your ways are not his. Well, neither are yours. I 100% agree. That's why I'm giving it to you from the word. Let me finish that. He said, you shall not have a king, verse 15, Deuteronomy 17, you shall not anywise set a king over you, whom Yahuwah shall choose one amongst your brothers, shall you set for king over you. And that's anyone that we're following, brothers and sisters. That could be in any role of leadership, just not just the king, but any role of leadership. It's okay. You can follow one of yours. You may not set a stranger over you, which is not your brother, but you shall not. And then he goes on to talk about other things that we should not do. No strangers over us. No kings over us. No strangers over us. Pretty simple. Back to the book of Jasher. Oh, praise Yahuwah. We're learning. We're learning. He's increasing our understanding. Okay, book of Jasher, chapter 19. Let us continue. Verse 9. And we talked about this. We left off with interest. We don't charge interest to our own people. Excuse me. We don't extort our own people. We don't profit off our own people. And those that could recognize silver and gold which had been given him, they took it back. And as his debt, they also stripped him of his clothing, and they would fight about that. And he that prevailed over his neighbor took them. The heathens would fight for your possessions. Don't they do that already? Weren't they doing that on the stock market when they were trading us as slaves? You do know, brothers and sisters, that the first commodity that was traded in Wall Street was us. You do know that, right? Go back and look at banking company like AIG and Wells Fargo. See who were financing the stock market or the trading of human chattel, as they said. Us. Fighting over us, bidding for us, trading us. Nothing new under the sun. As the old saying, nothing to see here. Same old thing. Just a different day. But see, they don't want you to know this. But Abba Yah told me to tell you, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it till there's no more breath in this body. Praise Yahuwah. He knew this day was coming. He loved us enough to say, I'm going to give one of them. I'm going to put him right out there, and I'm going to let him be the signal for the rest of the men and the women. And he's not going to be caught up in their dogma, religious dogma. Not afraid to call out idolatry for what it is. And nobody died for your sins. You're going to die for your own sins. Just as these people had to come out to avoid the wages of debt, sin, you got to do the same thing. And no man over there dying for you. None of us, brothers and sisters, me included. I'm going to die for my own sins if I'm in it, but I'm not. Praise Yahuwah. I've repented, and I'm doing everything in my power to make up for the wickedness of my past. What about you? Are you obeying? Are you obedient? Or are you just pretending to be? He knows my heart. Yeah, but you don't. He knows what I'm thinking, but you're insane if you're going against his word. I'm sorry, you're reprobated. Same thing, though. Not going to win no fist fight with Abba Yah, brothers and sisters. We're not going to win no doctrine fight with Abba Yah. His word is forever established. It's written in heavenly stones with diamond-tipped pens. Can't be changed. He's not going to change it just because you so sweet. They so sweet. He so sweet. Them so sweet. I know I should have said they. But they're not. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. And a wolf in sheep's clothing is not always somebody out front. You can have a wolf in sheep's clothing, again, sleeping in your house, under your roof. And when the time comes, the wolf going to do what the wolf is going to do. We're going to get there. Come on, came this far. Can I have a few more minutes of your time, brothers and sisters? Verse 10. And they took after to carry him and bury him under some shrubs in the desert, so that all the days that anyone came to them and died, so they did to all who came into their city and died in their land. And again, brothers and sisters, I want to let you know, these were justified laws. Just like, in our history, that in this wicked nation here, they had what they call vagrant laws. You know what a vagrant law was? Show you how wicked they are in their laws. Remember, the judges were okay with this stuff. They had what they call pig laws. If you stole a pig, you got 5 years in jail. If you didn't have a job, talking about if you were so-called Negro, which means Negro land, which is right near the kingdom of Judah, which is right where Ghana is, or used to be called the slave coast was, that brought us through the Caribbeans and over to the Americas, both south and north and south and central. Just so you know, we would call Negroes, because that's the region we're from. That's where the Israelites went when they migrated from the Caesars, from Rome, who was trying to slaughter us. And then it was the Africans around there who were not Israelites, who fought against us and ultimately sold us into the slave trade. Facts. But I bet you didn't read that in United States history, did you? Let's go on. But again, a vagrant law is you didn't have a job. Let me get back to it. So right after slavery ended, never really ended, the 13th Amendment just said, it's still here if you commit a crime. But let's just say for shits and giggles, after slavery ended, if you were freed, then they wouldn't let you go north because they sent the Union soldiers down here to reinforce what they call Reconstruction. The New World Order. Right? So they sent the Union soldiers down here so that you would not be re-enslaved, but also to make sure that you didn't migrate north because they didn't want us up in the northern states. So they put soldiers to keep us down here. Go look up, and this is during the Civil War, but go look at the Natchez, what is it, the Punch Bowl? Go look that up and see what Union soldiers did to our people in Natchez, Mississippi. Devil's Punch Bowl is what it's called. All these loving Northerners who love you so much. Ain't no racism up north. That's a lie. But anyway, in these vagrant laws where if you didn't have a job, and they weren't going to hire you because they wanted you back on them plantations, so you couldn't go get a job. So what they would do is go around during harvest season, planting season, and what they would do is find any of us who didn't have a job, and you would be arrested for not having a job, and then you would be put in jail, and then your former slave owners would go to the jail, lease you to work on their plantations for no money. The state got a little money. I'm sure the wicked sheriffs got some, but not you. And they pretty much worked you to death. No housing, no clothing, just enough food to keep you alive. There's a book called Worse Than Slavery. Look it up if you want to get some more insight on what your brother is talking about. But this is facts. These are facts. That's these lovers who love us so much that now some of us have decided that, they are worthy to be over us because they're nicer than the other ones. I ain't buying it. And if you're buying it, shame on you. I ain't buying it. Poisonous snake can be a pet, but it can still kill you. Verse 11, 1911. And in the course of time, Sarah sent Eliezer to Sodom to see Lot and to inquire after his welfare. That was her nephew. And Eliezer went to Sodom, and he met a man in Sodom, fighting with a stranger. And the man of Sodom stripped the poor man of all of his clothes and went away. What kind of fighting were they doing? They were just robbing people right on the street. That sounds familiar. Carjacking, taking the people's personal property, etc. Same, nothing new under the sun. Why is y'all going to bring down fire here? I want you, again, let's not forget where we started. Let's compare and contrast. With a just Elohim, let the stuff go on in America and not judge it. But the same thing that happened in Sodom and Gomorrah and all of those cities who were Confederate, united, their own little NATO type organization, he destroyed all of them, but somehow or another he's not going to deal with the West and all of these countries who are united with America and their wickedness. I beg to differ. We bring this out just so you can, again, so you can say, oh, I know why. Now I see why. But here again, beat up a man and robbed him of all his clothing. Some people could even add in that the jewelry and everything else. Sound familiar yet? Let's keep going. And this poor man cried to Eliezer and asked his favor on account of what the man of Sodom had done to him. So now he's asking now he's asking Eliezer, hey, can you help me out? This man that did this stuff to me. Now Eliezer, on the other hand, was a servant of Abraham. And if you've been following us, you would know that where Eliezer came from. And we're not going to tell you. All right. How did Eliezer end up with Abraham? We're not going to tell you that. But he wasn't a relative. I'm going to leave it right there. Join us on the Bible studies and you'll catch up. And he said, why do you act this way to the poor man who came into your land? And the man of Sodom answered Eliezer, saying, is this man your brother? Or have the people of Sodom made you a judge this day? That you should speak about this man? So that's what they're trying to say to us right now, a lot of my brothers and sisters. They're telling us, many of us, who are bringing forth this truth, who are you? Who do you think you are? Who gives you a right to tell us something? Who gives you a right to be a judge of what's going on, DFG? Well, I don't know. I believe Yah has called me to do it. But I, myself, have taken it upon myself to heed that calling. And because I've heeded that calling, I have a right to speak up when I see injustice. And I will. And you can criticize, or they can criticize and say whatever they want to say. But at the end of the day, when Yah shut this voice down, it'll be shut down. Until then, do us all a favor, you, whoever you are, and keep it moving. After all, we're not asking your opinion. And we damn sure not asking your permission. And Eliezer strove with the man of Sodom on account of the poor man, took up for the poor. That's what every true man should be doing. Righteous brother should be doing. Not walking by him and acting like, well, it ain't got nothing to do with me. Well, you're part of mankind. It has something to do with you. But again, we are in Sodom, so nobody gives a damn. Except for the few of us who genuinely care. But Yah sees us. And he's going to reward us for caring. And Eliezer strove with the man of Sodom on account of the poor man. And when Eliezer approached to recover the poor man's clothes from the man of Sodom, sounds like to me Eliezer won that fight. Be careful when you're messing with these believing men. They're not what a lot of these other unbelieving men think we are. We're not gentle giants. And I don't mean that we're giants, but we're just honorable, loving men. But like our brother Malcolm said, you put your hands on it, we're going to do our best to send you to the cemetery. Okay, I know you think I'm bragging. That's okay. Or whatever you think. Or he think he bad. No, I don't. No, I don't. I would not put my hands on anyone under no circumstances except for righteousness. Whether that's defending, protecting, stepping up. I'll do that for my brothers and my sisters. If they ain't gonna right, I'll do it for them. But ain't nobody bad over here. We're just saying, we're just men's. Real ones. Verse 17, and the blood flowed, hallelujah, and the blood flowed copiously down Eliezer's forehead. When the man saw that he bled, well, I'm sorry, I skipped the part here. When Eliezer approached to recover the poor man's clothes, I'm still in 16, and from the man of Sodom, he hastened with a stone and hit Eliezer in the forehead, just like a coward would do. You're not looking, pick up something and hit you with it. And the blood flowed copiously from Eliezer's forehead. And when the man saw the blood, he caught hold of Eliezer, saying, now give me my hire for having rid you of this bad blood that was in your forehead. For such is the law, or the custom and the law of our land. Did you guys catch that? He's fighting to get the poor man's stuff back. He gets the stuff back. This devil grabs a brick, bashes him in the head with the brick. He's bleeding all over the place. And this wicked devil tells him, oh, by the way, you need to pay me for shedding that bad blood that was in your body. Yeah. I know people say, what? That's craziness. I don't know. Is it any crazy for me not to be sick and then somebody tell me roll up my sleeve and give me a jab 3 times? Because they're trying to help my blood? Oh, that's a stretch, I know. But let's not talk what's insane, because we know what 6 to 8% of people on the planet did over the last 2 years, give or take. Let's not talk about, what people won't do. If the judge says it's okay, if the law says it's okay, if the law tells them to do it. So I guess insanity is based off of one perception, I guess. Because for some of us, that was insane to do that. Wasn't anything wrong with me. Why would I go do that? And didn't do it, and I think I might have had 1 cold in the last 3 years. Maybe 2. And I'm not sick at all. Oh, and for the record, I'm supposed to be in that concern class, age-wise. And I'll go as far to say, and this is just as a testimony, I feel like Caleb. When Caleb told Josh, hey, look, man, I'm 85 years old. I still have the same strength I had when I was 40. Why? Because Abba Yah was with Caleb. And when Abba Yah is with you, you don't need no man to tell you what to do to your body. He's given us laws, statutes, and commandments to obey. Dietary ones as well. To keep us healthy and strong. But the judges of the land said to do it, and guess what? I want to say 7 out of 10 Israelites did it too. So, hey. Why? Because the heathen said so. Well, nothing new under the sun here. And Eliezer said to you, have wounded me and required me to pay you your hire? And Eliezer would not listen to the words of the man of Sodom. Tell you how wicked they are. Knowing this was evil, getting us our people, and they targeted our people. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm still on that other thing. We were targeted. We were the target group. They were giving us snowballs and ice cream and free glazed donuts and lottery tickets, $100 bills. And they weren't doing that in other communities, right there amongst Israel. Nothing new under the sun. Wicked laws being implemented by wicked people. And people who, if we were trusting Abba Yah like we should have been, could have known not to do that. No, not me. Keep it moving. But they told it was all about whatever it was all about. And now they're sitting around, you know what I'm saying, looking at each other, winking like, well, let's get this new world order on the go now. Let's go now. We ready? Let's flip this switch. I think we got enough of them where we need them to be now. Then they'll never reach out to Abba Yah. They'll never reach out to their Elohim. They will never do it. It ain't in them not anymore. We took the drive away. Fundamentally, we took that extremeness that it takes to be dedicated and commit. That's done away with now. Hell, most of them don't remember what they ate for breakfast yesterday. This is what they're saying, brothers and sisters. I know you don't believe me, but it is what they're saying. Let's go on here. Verse 19. And he laid hold of Eliezer and brought him to Shekharah, the judge of Sodom, for judgment. And the man spoke to the judge, saying, I beseech you, my lord, thus has this man done. For I hit him with a stone, and the blood that flowed from his head, and blood has flowed from his head, and he is unwilling to give me my money. And the judge said to Eliezer, this man speaks the truth. Now, for all of you, when you first heard this, and say, that's craziness. But it was the law of the land. Just because it's legal does not make it right. And in the wicked lands that we happen to be scattered all over this earth in, those are the same ones who put Jim Crow laws on us, vagrant laws on us, slave codes on us, crack cocaine to powder cocaine laws on us, street strike laws on us, same people. I don't know, why it's so hard to believe that these people are wicked. Except you love, abuser. Or his children anyway, or children's children. They white, they got to be right. Well, some of us don't feel like that. Some of us feel like Eliezer. We will fight you, and we will fight you, and we will fight you, and we're going to fight you. All the devils amongst you. And you can scoff at us. You can put your little trolls out here. You can put your little filthy comments down there. You can pass your Section 220 rules and laws and try to shut us down. But until Yah says so, guess what? It ain't going to happen as far as shutting us down. And even if you do, I can assure you, Yah has a better plan for us. We're His. And I know you don't like it, but ain't a damn thing you can do about it, devils. And the judge says it, verse 20, and the judge says to Eli, this man speaks truth to you. Give him his money. For this is the custom of our land. See, slavery was legal. Colonization was legal. What they call them nighttime, what they call that? Sundown laws were legal. Well, you couldn't be in the city if you were a person of color. Segregation of school was legal. Slavery was legal. Selling, raping, maiming, burning, legal. Hanging, legal. And a lot of people that are around you are the children of those people who approved of it. And some of them still approve of it. But they want to tell you, oh, no, nothing over here. Don't look over here. Don't look over here. Don't look over here. Just keep repenting and Jesus got you. Then they look at each other. Think he bought it? Yeah. They bought it. Got the piece. The preacher's on the payroll. We're good. How sad for us as a nation. And the judge says, Elohim, this man speaks truth to you. Give him his hire. For his words is the custom of our land. And Eliezer heard the words of the judge, and he lifted up a stone, and he hit the judge. And the judge and the stone struck the judge on his forehead, and blood flowed copiously from the forehead of the judge. And Eliezer said, "Ooh, yay, Eliezer!" Oh yeah, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Isn't that our law? Huh? Is that our law? Let's see what Exodus says. Was Eliezer right by knocking that demon upside the head? Let's see here. Exodus chapter 21, verse 23. And it reads, if any mischief to follow, then mischief, wickedness. Then it's a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, a burning for a burning, a wound for a wound, and a stripe for a stripe. You ain't got a damn thing in there talking about turning no other cheek. Not in our Torah. That's the slave master's book that told you to do that. You know, the new one. All right. One more verse, and then we're done. We're going to have to go to a part 3. And I should have given him life. I'm sorry, let's go back to the judge. Now, this is Eliezer. He didn't hit this judge upside the head. Judge bleeding like a pig. And Eliezer said, if this then is the custom in your land, then you give this man what I should have given him. For this has been your decision. You decreed it. And Eliezer left the man of Sodom with the judge, and he went on about his business. Brothers and sisters, there is so much more for us to learn. So much more for us to understand in terms of what's actually going on around us, those things that we're not seeing and we're not allowed to see. Because the propaganda, the fix, as they say, has been in for thousands of years, well, at least 1,700 years and running. Because, see, they know what's coming. They know Abba Yah is about to return. They know it, brothers and sisters. They just don't want you to know it. They don't want us to know it. This is why they're destroying their banking system. They're destroying their currency. They're coming up with what they call cryptocurrency. Why? Because they can have full control of every single thing we do. Every move we make. And just like, sheep being led off the cliff, that's exactly what they're going to try to do to us. So that the name of Israel is no more, so that we don't cry out to our Abba Yah. Because they know if we come together collectively and we cry out to Abba Yah, they know they don't stand a chance. So what they're going to do is use their industries, their lies and their propagandas, their distractions, to wear us down to where our people won't want to hear the word, and even worse, have no knowledge of the word. And that's coming. And they're going to set up little, poke chop preachers, like my dear sister Hatton said, to tell lies to our people. Oh, it don't take all of that. He's no respecter of persons. He loves everybody. He made the man gay. It's not his fault. And if a man loves a child loves the man back, then how could you say that's not love? And what's wrong with making a little extra money on the side? If he don't know how to, fooling his money soon apart. Not my responsibility that he's poor. Right? Isn't that why Eliezer was fighting on behalf of the guy? Because he was a poor man? What they got to do with me? Well, if you're an Israelite and you're a man of love of Yah, Allah, even if you're a stranger, it has something to do with you. It has something to do with, as far as Eliezer, he thought it had something to do with it. But they're trying to keep it. They have been very successful keeping us into the dark, keeping us in the dark, brothers and sisters. And we're going to pick back up on in part 3 and get into the more detail. Now, I suspect we can get through it, y'all willing, tomorrow. Put it on your calendar. But this is where we are. This is the journey. I mean, they're talking about aliens again. Told y'all that balloon that was flying over the United States. I mean, yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday, Russia shoots down a drone that was in what they believe their territory. It wasn't in Russia, it was in their territory. They shot it down. Well, they want to claim it, the Russian plane crashed. They ain't crashing or nothing. You should have heard the story at the beginning. They're changing the story now. In the beginning, they said Russia shot it down. And in the Pentagon, just the last couple of days, talking about some they see out there, some kind of unidentified aliens. So they know something is coming. They know it's coming. And they're smart enough to know whatever's coming, it's going to be coming for us. Or better said, coming for them. But to detain it or to delay it, and I know they're praying, hoping to detour it, to stop it, that Yah, because of our wickedness, he won't come and rescue us. And so they're going to do everything in their power to marginalize men and women like ourselves. I'm talking to you, my brothers and sisters, true believers. Are they going to try to keep you in some compromising covenants that you just can't be there? Whether you want to be there or not, you just have to make up your mind. I'd rather take my chances, on my own than to stick around and be destroyed. It ain't up to me. It's up to Abba Yah. That's the mindset we have to have. But the closer this thing, the worse it's going to be. And again, you'll see it in the rest of the book, brothers and sisters. It gets bad. You think you've heard some bad stuff already. We already talked about the wife swapping and the pedophiles and the raping of the men. We've already talked about this stuff. But, the extortion of people, forcing people to bleed, to put things, releasing their body to get the bad stuff out of their body so they can be safe. We've gone through all of this stuff, and we still not even close to the meat and gravy. We still eating the entrees. We'll get there though, y'all willing. And more important, I just want to tell my brothers and sisters, I appreciate you. I love you. Even those of you who despise me because I speak the truth. Hey, I don't have no time to despise you. I don't even know you like that. And for you heathens out there, if it wasn't for my dear sisters, I would tell you, what you could do with whatever you're thinking. But that being said, by Yah's mercy and grace, we'll pick it back up. Part 3. Remember, I'm going to use the same image because the image says what it says, with nakedness. We're not supposed to be seeing the nakedness of our women out in public. Men either. Nothing hidden that should not be revealed is what the book says. No strangers ruling over us, telling us what to do, catering to them. We're not their property anymore. That said, I want to thank all my brothers and sisters who have been supportive, because you're the main source of income for your brother right now, those who support the channel. Just want to let you know up front. Sister Karina, Brother Jonathan, Brother Adrian, Brother William, Brother James, obviously, dear Sister Rosalind, hallelujah, Sister Kalada, Sister Jennifer, hallelujah. Oh, and brother and sister, where are you? I got you here. Sonny and Curtis Berry, hallelujah. Brother Dennis. And all of you who have supported the channel, just thumbing up the channel, sharing the video, you too. I love all of you. But I just want to let you know that whatever you're able to share with your brother is highly, highly appreciated. It does not go unnoticed, and I go before Abba Yah, and I thank him for you. Because I know that, in all of these things and so many competing issues out there that, it takes a special kind of person to want to support Yah's work, his real work. And I promise you one thing. Until he takes this Rahuka mind away, that is what I'm going to be doing. So, that said, my dear brothers and sisters. Oh, when I say Sister Haddon, I'm talking about Mariah, Anthony, and Elijah. But that being said, I just want you guys to know that I do appreciate your support. And you're planting good seed and good soil. And Yah will bless you. And those of you who are considering it, then I hope Yah will persuade you to do so. The old box is in the, in the information. And obviously the Cash App information is there as well. So until we meet again, Yah willing, tomorrow, part 3 coming. Stay blessed. Stay prayed up. Keep looking. It's out there. Our Redeemer is near. It's not time to be aloof and be adrift and caught up in the cares and stuff of this world. Ain't nothing in this world we can take with us, to the next life. None of it's going to be suitable or fit for the thing. We're going to have so much better stuff, not even comparable to it. So don't get attached to it, brothers and sisters. Use what's in your hand for the good of Israel, and you'll be doing just what Abba Yah wants you to do. And then study, learn, share, study, learn, share, study, learn, share. And the glue is prayer and the assembling of like-minded brothers and sisters. So that said, Yah willing, part 3 tomorrow. Thank you for your time. Brother DFG, Shabbat Shalom.